Welcome to Shreveport Connection. This is Tommy. And happy birthday goes to NXT superstar Riddick Moss. His 27th birthday. All these birthdays October 11th. Dusty Rhodes. 1945 he was born. Sam Houston, a.k.a. Michael Smith. Turned 53. Rikishi had another birthday. He was born 1966. Tonga Kid. His twin brother. It's Sam Fatu. He's also 51. He's also 51. Well, twin. October 11th, Taz had a birthday. 1967. October 11th. Again, Tony Chimel, former WCW ring announcer. He was born 1967. Andy Douglas of the Naturals from TNA fame turned 38. Also, rounding out October 11th, Ricochet, formerly of the Cruiserweight Classic. He was born in 1988. And tomorrow's birthday, well, I'm doing a video at midnight on Tuesday night. Karen Jarrett, 1972. October 12th. No dark match advertised for SmackDown main event. But there was one. I'll give it to you after the SmackDown thing. Previously reported that WWE first confirmed the DVD Blu-ray for 2017 will be the company's first retrospective on former WCW World Champion Diamond Dallas Page. WrestlingDVDNetwork.com reports that the set will be titled Diamond Dallas Page, Positively Living. Also recently mentioned that Devon Dudley has been working for WWE in backstage capacity as a producer since the Dudleys' contract expired over the summer. Bubba Ray had this exchange with a fan on Twitter today, indicating that he also is still affiliated with the company. The Twitter user is at Perrin702 commented to Bully Ray at Bully Ray 5150. Bro, I'm shocked you and Testified Devon are gone. I was hoping it was an angle. Well, Bully Ray responds at Bully Ray 5150. Bubba Ray Dudley retweeted Pat Perino. Gone? Hardly. Believe nothing of what you hear, only half of what you see. Former HLN host Nancy Grace is no stranger to pro wrestling fans, as her show covered various wrestling-related deaths over the years. Mostly recently, wrestling fans called for Nancy's show to be canceled back in 2014 when she brought on Diamond Dallas Page for an interview and tried tying all wrestler deaths to steroid use. Page later told Radar Online that Grace ambushed him. I was asked to go on her show and talk about Warrior the Man. I was even given bullet points from her producers about topics that we would discuss. After seeing the topics, which were pretty basic, I felt it would be great to go on and discuss the legend he was and how I got to know him. With that being said, I wanted to share a story that when Warrior came back to wrestling back in the WCW days, he sat myself and Bill Goldberg down and said he was watching all the fun we were having and wanted to be part of it again. To hear him tell me that was the coolest thing. The Ultimate Warrior returning to wrestling because he was watching our stuff. How awesome is that? Fast forward 18 years later to this past week's WWE Hall of Fame speech. I mean, the guy gave me DDP Yoga a shout out like 4 times during his speech, simply because he was happy it was helping people, and obviously he didn't have to do that. It just goes to show the man he was. What hurts is the fact that I couldn't say that thank you to him for it. I went looking for him, but I couldn't find him. I wanted to call him, but never got the chance. That's the Warrior that I wanted to discuss on her show. However, it's clear I was ambushed. Everyone has been asking me what I would say to Nancy Grace now after she had me on. The answer is easy. I don't need to say a word. Look on all the social media sites. The fans are saying it all. I would not change who I am because of the way others act. It's just not me. However, lesson learned. Grace, who was recently left HLN, appeared on the Jim and Sam show with Jim Norton and Sam Roberts earlier today and walked out of the interview after a heated exchange, which you can see in there was an embedded video at the top of this point. Roberts, who is a big wrestling fan, brought up Nancy's interview with DDP. The exchange that followed went like this. Roberts said, "You took a lot of heat too for the report you did with the Ultimate Warrior died, and you brought on DDP with the wrestler, and you were talking about wrestlers dying of steroids and drug overdose, things like that. When steroids weren't involved in the Ultimate Warrior's death." Grace, no, they were not. Robert says, "And on the people you listed a whole bunch of wrestlers that had died before they were 40. Some of the wrestlers you listed, one of them had fallen from the ceiling. One of them had been shot. There were all these guys, all these names." Grace, I don't think it was ever said that those guys died from steroid overdose. Robert says, "No, but you said that there's," Grace said, "early deaths and untimely deaths in wrestling history." Robert said, but you established the argument that there's drug abuse and steroids. Then you said, here's a list of wrestlers that died young. So you didn't say that. So why they died. Grace said, I really believe that professional wrestling wrestlers are not protected. I think everybody gets a big kick out of watching them, and whether the wrestling is real or not, people love watching it. I think that those wrestlers, those women and men, go in the ring are not protected. I don't think anybody is ever looking out for them, and I think that they are used badly. Robert says, so if that was your intention, and of course, I can believe you on that. You're telling me that what goes through your mind when a lot of wrestlers see your report and come back at you with venom, saying you're not representing us, you're not telling us our story, and what you're portraying isn't happening. Grace then says, then I'm sorry they feel that way. Robert says, that's the way most wrestlers respond. The wrestlers that were on your show, Diamond Dallas Page, who was on your show, was furious. I don't know if you remember about coming on your show. He said he came on under false pretenses. Grace says, I do remember. I thought he was a perfect gentleman. I could not have been nicer, and I don't want him to feel bad. I feel bad that he feels bad, but the fact remains, in the wrestling industry, there is a very high occurrence of untimely deaths for a lot of different reasons. I feel it's the industry's fault. I don't think these guys and women, but mostly guys, are the ones dying inordinately young. I don't think that they are told all the risk of what they're getting into. Robert says, so when the people you advocate for, when you are saying this is your intention to advocate for these people, when the people you're advocating come to you and say, we don't need you doing that for us. We don't like what you're doing. Don't do it. And Gray says, I've rarely had that happen. Robert says, it's happened in this case. Gray says, yes, it did. With that wrestler, we did not like the way the show went. Robert's going to come back and says, and most wrestlers that watch that too. Gray says, I disagree with you. Roberts, I talk to wrestlers all the time. Grace, I know you talk to wrestlers all the time, and you have talked to several wrestlers that said that, but does not mean most wrestlers. Robert says, a huge amount. Gray says, so the fact that you have talked to some wrestlers that said that, I hear you. I respect that, and I'm sorry that they feel that way. I really don't know what else you want me to say. Norton continued to grill Grace about how she covered the stories. She accused him of not liking her and talked about how she feels uncomfortable. She feels comfortable with her show and how she represents crime victims, Grace said. I'm sorry that the wrestlers feel that way, but the truth is that a huge amount of wrestlers die at a young age for a lot of different reasons, and that is what screen was for. Now, if you were somebody else interpreted in a different way, I feel bad about that. Nancy then commented that the host didn't ask one decent question from the time that she walked in, accusing them of attacking her. They did promote her new TV show and her book, but after some more back and forth, Grace walked out of the interview. And I did not get the link for that. Search for it online. It sounds though Ken Doane and Mike Mundo will be returning to SmackDown again tonight. As WWE Twitter account, go to the link. WWE posted a video above featuring Zack Ryder and WWE Intercontinental Champion Dolph Ziggler arriving for tonight's show. Ziggler hopes to get his hands on former Spirit Squad partners and hopes Daniel Bryan can help him. The Sport Bible recently sat down with the WWE former champion Shamus to promote the release of WWE 2K17 video game. Full interview is available on thesportbible.com. In this year's My Career mode, you can choose between owning your craft in NXT or bypassing the Performance Center and immediately becoming a Paul Heyman guy. Hypothetically, which one would you do? Which one would you choose? You could actually do both. I've always been a huge admirer of Paul Heyman. I'm not saying something's going to happen there. I think there's pros and cons each way you go. When I was in FCW, Florida Championship Wrestling, before it became NXT, I had a great training with Dr. Tom Pritchard and Steve Karen. So there are success stories either way. It's just whatever works best for you. And a huge reason for why these games are so popular is that you can make dream matches, which haven't happened or maybe cannot take place in real life. Of all the 150 roster members in the game, which one would you like to have locked up with? Any of the legends you would have liked to have worked with? I would have loved a match with Macho Man. And I'm going to add that match to my video dream match account for Shamus. He really was one of those who stole me as a kid when I was getting into WWE. Ever since the Cup of Coffee promo, that was just an example of how charismatic and crazy he could be. The gear he wore out there, his personality, his in-ring ability, he was the total package. I would have loved to have wrestled Macho Man Randy Savage. Switching gears to your run in WWE at the moment, an excellent best of 7 series with Cesaro, including an absolute barnstormer in the finale. Did you feel as though the program revitalized you both after a patch where you perhaps weren't being featured as you would have liked? Yes, I do. It was a golden opportunity to really get out there and steal the show, and that's what we did. We had already wrestled twice before the best of 7 series, and was announced after my match with Sami Zayn. We knew what we could do. We didn't treat any match less than the other. The match we had in London as part of the live event at the O2 was great because there were something on the line. It wasn't just a regular match. We knew we knew what we had as an opportunity, and we knocked the hell out of each other for 7 matches. And the best thing coming out of it was after 9 matches in total, people were wanting us to keep fighting. It was incredible for both of us, and now we're in tag team. Stuck with each other, which is an interesting dynamic. I've won the Royal Rumble, WWE Champ, US Champ, King of the Ring, Money in the Bank. I'd love a tag team title to go with that, but the storyline is most important thing at the moment. These are exciting times for me. I was talking to Chris Jericho when we did that 4-way going into SummerSlam when Finn Balor won the title, and we had these 4-way matches. After that match, I felt I was getting back where I was after the League of Nations and all that. Sometimes you need a match or some sort of feud to get to kick you back into gear, and that's what happened. I had that match with Cesaro, had that match with Sami Zayn right off the cuff. We were brawling all over the place, and people got involved. I don't know if you know, but Sami Zayn is 55 years old. So to be able to go in that match like he did was incredible. SmackDown pre-show. Here's a link for that. Dark match prior to SmackDown featured Baron Corbin defeating the local San Jose enhancement talent. Did not get any name for him. Daniel Bryan has announced that Naomi versus Alexa Bliss for next week's episode of SmackDown. And the following matches from San Jose for the main event taped after SmackDown. That's why I'm doing this video after midnight. Zack Ryder and Mojo Rawley defeated Aiden English and Simon Gotch. Jack Swagger defeated Tyler Breeze. And that's it for your WWE main event. Live from San Jose, you got Mauro Ranallo, David Otunga, and JBL starting off SmackDown. Right to the ring, out comes Intercontinental Champion Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler cut a promo on how he overcame the odds and won the title at No Mercy. He's interrupted by The Miz and Maurice. They're dressed in all black and stop in the middle of the ring for a moment of silence. They're mourning the death of the Intercontinental title. Miz rants on how he brought prestige back to the title. He says Ziggler's win is a funeral for the prestige of the title. Miz says this is not the end of this story. This is just Act 2, where the hero needs to overcome odds. Miz says he's a hero. Miz goes on, and we see a video from the end of the match where Miz looked like he was crying. Ziggler mocked him. Miz said this isn't funny. He takes it very serious. You were crying chant from the crowd breaks out. Miz goes on and tells Ziggler to imagine what he will do to get the title back. Miz says he's not done with Ziggler, and neither are they. Out comes Kenny and Mikey of the Spirit Squad. 2-on-1 handicap match, Spirit Squad versus Dolph Ziggler. I didn't see the first part of SmackDown. Myself. Got home late. I did get my car repaired. Great. Having issues with the internet feed and what have you. Okay, Kenny and Mikey hit the ring for a handicap match, which was made by Daniel Bryan from earlier. Ziggler started things off with Mikey. Ziggler took control and has words with The Miz as we go to commercial. They keep the feed streaming in the corner of the screen, and we see Mikey and Kenny meeting with The Miz. They go back in, and Kenny goes at it with Ziggler. Back from the break, Kenny is in control of Ziggler. Mikey comes in and keeps control, but gets caught with a sleeper hold. Ziggler ends up taking out Kenny and rolling Mikey up, but Ziggler doesn't see that tag and comes in Kenny to break up the pin. Ziggler counters a double team with double DDT. Ziggler unloads on Kenny, but Mikey gets a cheap shot in from the apron. Kenny drops Ziggler for a close 2 count. Ziggler counters a move and nails Kenny with a super kick for the win. As soon as the bell hits, Miz hits the ring and beats Ziggler down. Miz hits a skull-crushing finale and orders the Spirit Squad to grab Ziggler. Music hits, and out comes SmackDown Tag Team Champions Rhino and Heath Slater. Miz and Spirit Squad retreat as Ziggler's music hits and 2 teams face off. The announcers talk about SmackDown's Women's Champion Becky Lynch being out of action with a medical condition unrelated to competition. Becky will defend against Alexa Bliss at the November 8th SmackDown pay-per-view from Glasgow, Scotland. Well, it's a SmackDown from Glasgow, November 8th SmackDown from Scotland. Still to come segment, Kane and Randy Orton versus Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt. Also, Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan have a Survivor Series announcement. Back to commercial. We come back to SmackDown. Bosses Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan. They issue a challenge to Raw for the Survivor Series pay-per-view. A traditional 5 versus 5 elimination match with their top 5 superstars. A traditional elimination tag match with 5 tag teams versus 5 SmackDown tag teams. Well, they did this a long time ago. And also the best 5 women versus the best 5 women of SmackDown. Then we got Carmella versus Naomi up next. We go right to the ring. Off first comes Carmella. After Carmella was beat down Nikki backstage earlier. We see a video where she destroyed Nikki backstage. Naomi was out next with a glow right gear. Carmella attacked her before the bell. They regroup and go to commercial. Back for the break. Carmella's in control. We see Alexa Bliss watching backstage on a monitor. Naomi ends up getting the win after Nikki Bella comes down the ramp and distracts Carmella. Did not get involved in the match. Just came down for the distraction. Rear view, Naomi wins. After the match, Nikki chases Carmella away and stands tall with Naomi. And they hug in the ring. Alexa Bliss was still backstage watching as Andrea DeMarco walks in and says she can't beat Naomi. That she says that she can beat Naomi any day of the week. Well, SmackDown commissioner, general manager Daniel Bryan walks up. Oh, really? Well, makes the match for next week. Still to come. Any day of the week. Still, okay, that day is going to be next Tuesday on SmackDown. Still to come segment, victory speech for AJ Styles. Next match, Chad Gable versus Jimmy Uso. Back from the break. Both Usos are out with American Alpha. Back and forth to start the match with Gable getting the upper hand. Usos work on Gable's arm. The end sees Jimmy roll Gable's arm up out of the corner. Jey Uso pushes on his brother for leverage to keep Gable down as he pinned Gable. Jimmy Uso won the match. And they laugh as they're heading up the ramp. We go backstage to Zack Ryder and Mojo Rawley. Mojo rides Ryder for not partying last night, saying he was probably at home playing with his toys. Ryder wants them to stay focused on the titles. The Ascension up here, they don't say nothing. They just stare him down. And now it's the end of that one. Still to come, Orton and Kane versus Harper and Wyatt. Also, AJ Styles' victory speech. We go back to commercial. Back for the break. Out comes World Champion AJ Styles for his No Mercy victory speech. Styles talks about beating John Cena and Dean Ambrose on Sunday. He knocks the fans and goes back to talking about No Mercy triple threat. Styles says he's a winner, and winners always find a way to win. Styles says he's going to give someone a main event opportunity tonight. He calls out for his opponent to be sent out, and here he comes. Well, that's not his real opponent. Dean Ambrose is out to a pop. It doesn't look like this one. This is who Styles was expected. Ambrose knows Styles wasn't talking about him because Styles likes the easy way out. Ambrose says he's not done with Styles. Styles belongs to him, and no one is jumping in front of him in line. Styles says this person isn't on the roster. He calls out for the mystery man to come down, and out comes the infamous jobber, James Ellsworth. Styles talked about the match, says it will be a non-title. Ambrose says he actually wants to see this match. He's going to sit right at ringside and watch. Nah. Styles says this is an opportunity of a lifetime, and Ambrose can't sit here to distract Ellsworth. Styles both of them Styles tells Ambrose to get stepping and head to the back. Music interrupts, and out comes Daniel Bryan. Bryan says AJ may be the champ who runs the camp, but he's the guy who runs SmackDown, and he makes the matches. Bryan says he's also a huge James Ellsworth fan, and the match is happening right now. Bryan says AJ is right. Dean won't be at ringside because he will be a special guest referee. AJ Styles versus James Ellsworth, non-title match, of course. Ambrose takes the shirt from the actual referee, and we get ready to go. Bryan says if AJ puts his hands on Ambrose, the referee, he will be fined or suspended. Well, Ambrose tucks his shirt in and empties his pockets, handing everything to AJ. AJ throws Dean's belongings to the floor. Dean calls for the bell. Ambrose checks AJ for foreign objects as we go to commercial, with the video playing in the corner. Loss of Stalin to start the match. Ambrose pulls shenanigans all during the match, leading to Ellsworth getting the non-title win after Ambrose hits AJ with dirty deeds and puts Ellsworth on top of him for the win. The winner of the match, James Ellsworth. So next week, normally when you pin a champion, you'll get a title shot. Well, we go to backstage to Randy Orton and Kane. Orton cuts a darker than usual promo on his world and asks Kane, this was a backstage segment, if he wants to come along for the ride. Kane says he's in. Kane says Orton has issues. Orton walks off. Back to the ring, we see Ellsworth getting his win, big win. AJ's backstage, he's furious. Walking in on Bryan and McMahon, Shane confirms AJ lost the match and asks if he understands. AJ says he understands. He will have to take matters into his own hands. AJ walks off. Bryan says he has an idea for Ellsworth for next week. Still to come, Orton and Kane team up. Back to commercial. Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt versus Kane and Randy Orton, which is your main event. Back for the break, out comes Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper. Harper says this world put him to sleep, but now he's awake because he sees that light. It's Harper saying that. Wyatt says that light burns brighter than ever. He cuts a promo on Randy Orton, telling him to bring his monster Kane out, so they can both beat them down. Back from the break, Orton is out with Kane. Back and forth. Well, Kane's intro starts first. Kane was out first, then Randy Orton. Back and forth with action, in and out of the ring during the match. The finish happens when the lights go out. As Kane is on the apron, Orton's in the middle of the ring. Lights go out. They come back on. Kane is missing from the apron. Nowhere to be found. Probably under the ring. Harper is standing where Kane was. Harper extends his hand for a tag to Orton and laughs. Orton turns around to Bray Wyatt and nails Sister Abigail. But the Sister Abigail was not nailed correctly like he normally does. He got it, and when he spun around, Orton landed right on Bray's chest. When he's supposed to be landing right on the floor. Orton is shocked at Bray Wyatt's music hitting. As we get replay, SmackDown goes off the air with Wyatt and Harper posing on the stage. Kane is still missing. What happened after SmackDown went off the air? Dark match. Main event, 6-man action. You got, show you a picture of that as well. Ziggler, Nikki Bella, and Cena. Intergender tag match versus Miz, Baron Corbin, and Carmella. Hashtag WWE San Jose. From the second picture that you will see, as they're all standing tall, holding up their hand, the faces one. Ziggler, Nikki, and Cena. As seen on SmackDown Live tonight, Dolph Ziggler faced Mike Mondo and Kenny Dykstra of the Spirit Squad in a handicap match. After the match, SmackDown Tag Team Champions Rhino and Heath Slater made the save when Ziggler was being attacked by The Miz. While not confirmed, tonight's SmackDown could be setting up the 6-man tag team match with The Miz and the Spirit Squad versus Dolph Ziggler and Slater and Rhino. So the squad might be sticking around for WWE TV for a little bit, probably about a month. Well, technically, they don't have much talent for tag teams on SmackDown, so they had to hire somebody. And that concludes my SmackDown and WWE main event spoilers. SmackDown Live and main event spoilers. And as usual, thanks for watching. Peace out. See you on our video. And if you don't know, just call me, brothers and sisters.